Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Closer Experience. Happy Wednesday to you and your family. Please go ahead and like and share this video because we're ready to get into some great conversation about relationships. Pastor Tony and I have taken over Closer Experience this whole month of February, just talking about relationships. And so this has been really fun with you.
Oh yeah, I've had a great time. I thank you for being the best co-host a man could ever ask for.
Oh, absolutely. He gets paid to say that. But for those of you that are joining the Closer Experience for the very first time, we have curated this space to be a spiritual development space in coming a variety of ways of being able to connect with you. At the Leadership Church, we believe that believers should want to develop their relationship with Christ, not just on Sundays, but also throughout the week. And Wednesdays is another way for you to connect with God and grow closer to Him. And so these closer experiences are incubators to help you realize the ways that you can grow close to God. So sometimes they're conversations, sometimes they're podcasts, sometimes they're just good old Bible teaching. And we just love to come together on Wednesdays to allow people to do that. And so we're excited to talk or dedicate this whole month to relationships. And today we're talking about the relationship codes everyone needs in 2024.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, there are some codes. Sometimes we have codes to phones, right? So they're like rites of passage. They kind of protect us, correct? Like when you think about a code, you have codes to your phone, you have codes to your alarm system, you have codes to your emails, right? And I don't know where I would be if I didn't have like Apple has this feature on the phone where you can put all of your passwords and codes in there because codes should be
Protector.
protected, right? So today we're talking about, the top 8 relationship codes everyone needs in 2024. And so my top one that I thought was great that I want to share and I want to hear what you think is do you want to be right or happy? Deciding if you want to be right or happy.
That's your number one code.
That's my number one code.
Why?
Because I think it's so important when we are dealing in conflict or not conflict. Do I just want to be right or do I want to be happy in this relationship? And so if the goal is to be happy, then I don't always have to be right. And so I think that's just where I'm standing in 2024.
I was trying to give her the
He's
I was trying to
blinking at
give
me.
her the code words and the blink sent to not overpromise.
Oh,
Like I was trying to blink say, don't do that to yourself.
but
But
I think
okay.
I've already demonstrated that a little bit with you.
Yeah, I do think that. I
Okay,
mean, all
come on,
seriousness,
come
I
on.
do think that.
Okay,
I do. I agree.
right. So there have been times where, okay, I want to be right, and so I stand on being right, and this is with anything, but now I want peace. So if you want to put your shirt on backwards, by all means, go right ahead and knock yourself out. If you want to,
Right.
if you want to live and stew in whatever it is that you want to live and stew in, I'm not gonna give my energy
Mhm.
and my breath to that. I'm going to choose happiness. If you don't want to do this for your birthday, you want to do something else, baby, go right on ahead and do that. It don't make sense to me, and I'm not even going to lean in when it don't make
Yeah,
sense.
but see, now you didn't give me them first 20 years like that. The
No.
first 20 years, you were like, well, this what you doing. And I would say, no, I don't want to do that. And you say, good, because you're doing it.
Well,
And
I did say this is the 2024 code, right?
yeah, I know, but I'm still
Right.
traumatized.
Right.
I'm
So,
still traumatized from the first 20 when you treated me like I was 7
mm.
and I don't have a choice on what I want to do for my birthday. But okay, we're in 2024.
So for those of you watching today, what do you all think about that as it being a code? Like, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? Is that your which one you want to choose? For me, I just want to be happy, so I don't have to be right. That person can be all the way right. I'm like, okay, good, because peace is what I want in 2024.
Yeah, and peace is good. So I'm gonna let you use that code for yourself.
So you standing on that you want to be right.
I want to be right.
Oh my
So the
God.
good thing about it is, being that you chose that you want to be happy, we good, because I could just continue to be right. So
Oh,
I mean, it
God.
works perfectly for me. I like the fact that you chose happiness over being right. So
Yeah.
we good. But I really do think this thing speaks of maturity.
Yes.
Like, all joking aside, it's about maturity.
Yes.
It's about, like, and I hope no one takes offense to this. We recognize that age and maturity aren't the same.
No. Mm-mm.
But then you do have to ask yourself, I'm 35, 40, 45, 50, and I'm still immature about my emotions and
Yes.
being right.
Yes.
Not being able to let things go.
Yes.
Not being able to say, you know what, that's really not worth sleeping in a separate room for that night, or
Yes.
that's really not worth us being angry with each other right before we take that nice trip. And most of you, I don't know about you, but I know if you are married, it seems like the enemy comes in with this happy, or with I'll take happiness, or I'll take being right. At the exact time you're going on vacation,
Yes.
some big ceremonies happen, an event, and it's just like he's just waiting, like, okay,
Right.
here's something special. Let me jump in, try to ruin it, and see if you'll choose happiness over being right.
I'm thinking even about at work,
Yeah.
even with your colleagues, yes, you could send that email, and say, oh, you can straighten it out. But, just choose to be like, this year I want to be happy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let, Shamika have that.
Right.
Right.
I mean,
'Cause I want peace.
but how do we get there though? Like, how did you get to saying I want peace? Because there's a lot of people out there that are looking at us tonight saying, I really struggle with that. Like,
Yes.
I know I should let it go. With my mother, my sister, my brother, my husband, my friend, but I can't seem to let it go. And if I think I'm right, you know how the dog does when he finds his toy, he just like, how did you get there, and how did we get there?
For me, it was just a goal of, like, having more control of my emotions, like just having emotional intelligence and wanting to just have emotional strength. I saw that some things that aggravated me a lot, and or sometimes being a person that stands on principle a lot, like, well, it's just about the principle of it. Like,
You are a
right,
principled person.
I am. And so I found myself being irritated. It was funny because with me and one of my lives was having this conversation, and we were it was going in so many different directions with it. And I was just like, Elisha, I heard a small voice, Elisha, you just be happy. And I said, okay, if you want to lean with it, rock with it that way, I'm okay with that, But inside, the other Elisha was like, oh my God, that was so, So it is a warring.
Well, you got one of your points. Your second point is respond, don't react. How does that help in that?
So that's code number 2.
Yeah.
In 2024 is, respond,
Don't react.
Don't react. And so I call myself counting backwards. I don't know if you heard me do that lately. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, that allows me to have a response, or I put up boundaries to allow me to respond later.
Well, what's the difference though between responding and reacting?
Because reacting is no control, no barriers.
Okay,
I am
okay.
just shooting straight from the
I
hip.
got you.
I have not dissected. So I say, give me an opportunity to respond.
I got you.
So I can take it back to a space. I spend on, even in an email. It's like sometimes, or a text message. People can tell now, like if they text you, you leave them on read. I don't see anything wrong with that, because I could be driving, or I'm not sure if I want to respond right now. It's something I need to research on. So giving me an opportunity to digest it versus just shooting right off the hip is where I am.
What happens when we react Like, what are some of the pitfalls of reacting and not responding?
Sometimes it can just be pure off of emotion, and so feelings can get us in so much trouble because like right now I feel like I want to have Chipotle. Like I see myself having a a rice bowl,
Right.
but then later on I may feel like having not a Beyond Burger, but an Impossible Burger. Like just figuring out. You can't get so caught up into feelings because these feelings will have you all over the
Yeah.
place. And I think adopting something like code number 2 can really help you in navigating relationships.
And so okay, but going backwards a little bit, with all that being said, so that you don't uh, react and
Yes.
you respond,
Yes.
what about that other code you have, which is about creating boundaries?
Mhm.
Maybe sometimes what's really missing is we have not created boundaries in the relationship, meaning like, okay, within our relationships,
Mhm.
number one, no mama jokes.
Mhm. Right.
Number two, no daddy jokes.
Yes.
Number three, no jokes about what you know of that personal thing you know
Yes.
about me. I'm just saying that, but I'm
Mhm.
just saying like
Mhm.
those boundaries so that we have less of those trigger moments. How do you feel about that being one of the points about 2024 and relationship creating boundaries? Like, what do you think about that?
So this is code number 3. If you're writing, create boundaries. I think it's important to create boundaries because boundaries protect us. When you think about a boundary, like when you're driving on the road, they may say, okay, don't go beyond this point,
Mhm.
and I think sometimes we have to create boundaries because we may be at capacity, and you may not get the best version of me, and creating boundaries allows me to safeguard things that are important to me.
Right.
It allows me to safeguard my personal time with you. It allows me to safeguard my personal time with my family, with the kids, to be able to manage my household. So if I'm not creating boundaries to safeguard the spaces that are important to me,
Yeah.
then you know it's creating a space of
Yeah.
chaos.
Yeah. I was about to say that's what I like
Mhm.
boundaries for. It
Mhm.
lessens the opportunity for chaos.
Mhm.
I think about sometimes when, like, like you said, even when we're doing a family night, and then
Mhm.
you set the boundaries, say, okay, we're not going to have the cell phones. We're not.
Mhm.
It's so that everyone who is in that space get the desired attention they want. Um, but even in relationships, it's foreseeing the possibility of trouble. When you
Mhm.
set boundaries, you have foresight into the fact that if we don't set these boundaries, then this, and that can happen. How do you see that? Like, do you see boundaries like protecting the future also, where I can see that if I don't set those boundaries, this, that, or whatever might happen?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I like when we did the 21-day challenge, which is like our 21-day Daniel's fast, because it helped reshape those boundaries, put me in a space that allowed me to revisit the things that I
Mm,
needed to forecast to protect.
okay.
So if I didn't create boundaries, then I'm less likely going to be able to achieve some of the personal goals that I have. If I didn't create boundaries, I'm less like even my space, like carving out the time for prayer and devotion,
Right.
right? Getting up early
That's
because
good.
I needed that space. I needed that time. So then I could not only just pray to God, but I could hear from him, and having that meditation space and being able to lean into all the other things that I want to lean into. And so I think creating that boundary helped me do
And okay, so that's good. How does that lend a role into, you know, okay, now that I have the
that.
boundaries, one of the things that the boundaries does for me, and maybe you can tell me, is it helped me optimize the right relationships, those
Hmm.
relationships that bear fruit, Like
Yes.
I have boundaries to say, okay, these people right here, they're
Yes.
cool, but
Yeah.
I can't
Mhm.
give it a lot of my
Yeah.
time because it doesn't
Yeah.
bear fruit. But
Yeah.
these people over
Oh
here,
yeah.
oh, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. So that I'm into all of that, especially in 2024. I want to connect with relationships, not just to just have for the sake of having because we've been friends all these years, right? But that the relationship there's a return,
Mm-hmm.
like in the relationship that you're not just existing, but you're actually returning something, towards the relationship. You're contributing,
Mm-hmm.
it is like the return on an investment. So that's the whole thing about bearing fruit, having fruitful relationships. So I think you're down to code number. Is that code number 4? Yeah, code number 4 is focus on relationships that bear fruit. So my focus is I'm not giving my time to persons or relationships that don't bear any fruit. I'm not spending a lot of time with people who don't return.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's. I'm looking for a certain word that, and I can't believe I can't think of it, and I say it a lot of time, often. But I'm not seeking to run after those relationships that
Who are, if they're not reciprocal?
reciprocal. Yes.
We want reciprocity.
We do. We do. We do. So that means when I call you, you're motivating me and encouraging me just like I am encouraging
Yeah.
you. If we're on on the phone and all I do is hear about whoa, you, and there's never a time where you call and ask me how I'm doing or how things going on with you and how are you and the kids and you're not encouraging me, I'm not spending a lot of time
Right.
in
Right.
that space. I think for me that this is just my code. Now you can help determine what your codes are, but I think these are great codes to have, to focus on relationships that bear fruit, that bear some type of return,
Mm-hmm.
not people that are always subtracting from you, but relationships that add value to who you are as a person and who you're wanting to become.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, either you're adding or subtracting.
Yes.
I mean,
Mhm.
there's no other way
Yeah.
because time costs.
And I want to spend more time with people that are multiplying. Right.
Yes.
We're in a new space where, where I believe God is wanting to take me, that I need to be around rewarding relationships that can help me get there faster because of their experiences. And so being around people that multiply, that can multiply things, or add value in that space. Take my 2 and put 4 with it, and
Right.
then we got 8.
Now, do we ourselves have to make sure that we're multipliers?
Oh
Because
yes,
there's so
yes it is.
I'm just
No, that's
playing.
good. No, I'm
A
like
lot of
that.
people want to be around multipliers,
Yes,
but then you say, "Oh, so you're bringing something to the
yes,
table to be a multiplier," and they're
yes.
like, "No,
No.
I just want to be multiple." No.
No, you have to make sure that you too are multipliers. You want to make sure that you too can add value. Sit down and add what can I help you with this year? What is it that you want to what is it that you want to do? How
Mm-hmm.
can I support you?
Mm-hmm.
That piece is important. So to make sure that you are, like you said, multipliers to someone else.
Yeah. You had, I think it was point 5 where you talked about empathy,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
when like bringing empathy to relationships,
Mhm.
understanding the other person's feelings,
Yes.
emotions, perspective. I can tell you that for me, that's a growth thing.
Yes.
I had to grow there.
Yes.
I had to grow to the place where I said, okay, this relationship isn't just about Tony,
Yes.
that there's another whole person
Mhm.
who has their own life
Yes.
experiences. They were raised differently.
Mhm.
They've had trials and tribulations that have shaped them.
Mhm.
I'll tell anybody, you haven't been shaped until you've gone through a trial and a tribulation. And sometimes you'll find out in that moment, you're not the person you thought you were.
Yeah.
And this trial and this tribulation truly defined and showed you, oh, this is who I really am. And now when we're in relationships, how do I have that empathy? How do I become understanding to their issues, you know?
Yes.
Like what does that mean for you to be empathetic
Yes.
when you think about it?
It's the opposite of being self-righteous. You know, like a lot of times we we lean into the self-righteous part, you know, oh, because you haven't had that experience. Like,
Hmm.
okay, when we look at let's say issues, you not necessarily issues, but things that we like. I like sugar, you prefer salt,
Hmm.
right? You know, and so like you'll take a bag of chips, I'll take a cupcake,
Right.
right? And but because of your own because you know sweets is not your thing, sometimes it can come off a little self-righteous when you like when you take my cake and hide it from me and put it away or act like you're throwing it away.
Oh, so
Yeah.
we're doing that now.
Right. When you do stuff like that,
Oh
it can come
God.
across self-righteous that you're not showing empathy towards me because
For
I
cake.
yeah, because that's what I like cake. But meanwhile, you like chips. So it's no different than, oh, somebody taking your favorite corn chips or, you know, popcorn or whatever your salt fetish is at the moment or nuts or what have you and hide them or
Are
dump
you
them.
are you really in the podcast
Right.
bringing up the fact about your cake and
Y'all, one
saying,
year, I don't know if it was when I turned 44. I don't remember which year it was, but I had this beautiful red velvet chocolate cake. Oh, it was so good. And it was because I like funded cakes. And this joker decided he was going to throw my cake away. I think I had it at a birthday party, not too many people. It was a good chunk of it still left. And I wanted to have another slice. And I went looking for it. Y'all, we was about to fall out over of some cake, but needless to say, that goes back into leaning into
"Oh
empathy.
my God,
And
cake."
your question was how, and sometimes you know if it's not a space where
That's a
you
trigger
can.
issue for you, honey.
No. I'm just saying if it's not a space where you can identify.
I know that's what I'm saying. That's a trigger.
No, it's not a trigger.
Because you went way out there for that cake.
Well, no, it is that bothered me, but I healed from it. You know,
I don't think
I
so. No, chicken. You did not heal from that.
I did.
That cake thing.
Mm,
Just tell me what kind of cake I need to buy you, boo.
I will.
I'm gonna make right on that
It
that
gotta be
cake.
Tatiana too.
Okay, I
You know
got you, boo.
Tatiana
Because
be like
I could see that you calling up the divorce attorney about that cake.
that.
So let me get that right, everybody in America, and say I was wrong for throwing away her cake. Pastor Tony's gonna make it right.
Right. But no, it's and empathy is being able to say, even though I can't identify with the fact that you like sweets, right? I still can lean into the fact that something is important to you.
Yeah,
And I think being able to show empathy is definitely a code to have in order to navigate
yeah,
relationships in 2024.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think you had this rolls right into it. You have that next code 6 was open, open and honest communication.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been married to you for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I know how you are about that.
Yes.
Uh, that you know, you like to sit down and talk about matters.
Yes.
You know, I'm like, text me, email me,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, nah, bro, we
Mhm.
need to sit down and really talk about it. Why does that mean so much to you when you hear open and honest communication, and why you chose that as one of the 2024 codes?
I think it's important in no matter what relationship that you're having. You know, we're not just talking about, let's say, marital or romantic relationships. It could be friendships. It could be relationships with family members, with kids. You know, or you know, coworkers. Period. I think good old communication just still runs its course. You know, because a lot of times, you know, you see conflict happen because of miscommunication and you said or you did one thing and you may have meant something totally different and we get to hide a lot of time a lot of times we can hide within miscommunication that lends over to mishaps and altercations and things of that nature. So sitting down having a good old-fashioned conversation to say, hey, what did you mean when you did so
Yeah.
and so, and how did that make you feel? That
Mhm.
lets that person know that you really care
I
about
agree.
them, you know.
What does
Something you
openness?
can't. Okay, go ahead.
Openness though.
What
What
you
does
mean?
when you
Open
say open
communication?
it
That
like?
means straight truth and honesty.
Okay.
Right. Don't be coming to me telling me what I want to hear, that filtered stuff. Really talk to me. Now, I'm not saying don't be delicate with the words you use, because you just can't come in and tell me your breath stink. That's just too straight down the street.
What do we have to say there?
You have to say, dear, a lot of times we come together, you know, a lot of times we come together, you 9 times out of 10 have it all together. But this time, your breath just, most times your breath is on point, but this time.
So you want us to sing a song? You want us to sing?
No,
she want a song.
wait a
It's
minute.
sad to say we're not gonna make
No.
it.
Open means you're being
And
honest.
it's getting to the point where we can't take it. Doo-doo. Like, she don't want that. You don't like that. You want it to be open, but with respect. That's what you're saying.
Yes, and some being delicate a little bit. I'm not saying you gotta have on the kid gloves, like that you can't say, you can't speak truth to power. That's not what I'm not saying.
I got you.
I'm just saying, don't come in say things like how you would want people to say it to your mama. Like sometimes,
that is what about, okay, so then I know we're getting close to time, but what about how important is appreciation and gratitude towards each other in a relationship in 2024? Whether it be a friend, spouse, we have a great friend and a great person in our lives in the form of Elder JP. And you and I could sit here and gush about each other all day. And we try to show each other gratitude and appreciation. But it's about we're talking about just relationship codes.
Yes.
People
should know that you care about them,
that
you appreciate them. It shows that you don't take their relationship for granted. A lot of times we get exposed to good people, and we get so used to their goodness that we don't turn around and tell them how good they are.
Well, what's one thing when you think about someone like Elder JP? What's one thing that you appreciate about her?
Oh, that she'll come through for you when you're sick. She's like, "Oh, you want me to bring you some soup?" Like,
it's almost overwhelming because you're not used to other people. So, like, it's nothing wrong with her. You're just like, oh, you're gonna drop, because most people are not just gonna drop everything.
And most people are not, and so you only have a few of those. And so when you have a few, I've been very blessed to have a few of those, and so those people that I have like that are few, I let them know I appreciate them. It could be a token of love or appreciation. It could be encouragement. You can tell them I love you. Appreciation is so much in nurturing relationships. So what number code was that?
That was 7.
Number 7.
But that's still, we're almost through. But guess what? How beautiful what it leads to?
What?
Spending quality time.
Yes.
And those are the people.
Yes.
That you see, it's not just spending quality time, but it's spending quality time with quality people.
Yeah, this year I'm not spending time with ranky-dank people. People that every time you turn around it's negative. They don't have anything positive to contribute. They always need something, but they don't never check on what your needs are. Those kind of things. So like quality people, spend time with quality folk. And sometimes that doesn't always look like family, because sometimes family can take you.
You definitely can't be just work blood or
it's not just only blood. It's sometimes it's even people that you need to get to know. Like it could be you're in a new environment. Use this year for expanding your network.
That's right.
Expanding your village, getting to know someone that is a good quality person that could help you grow in your personal or.
I like to give an equation if I can.
Yes.
When you spend quality time with quality people, you get a quality result in life. When you spend quality time with quality people, you get a quality result in life. Lead us out on that and close us out. And I just want to say to you before we leave, every moment I spend with you is of quality time.
Mhm.
Up, down, disagreement, beautiful things are gonna come, and I appreciate
Good, because I have some places I want you to drive me today.
that. See, here we go.
That's that
Set
quality
myself
time.
up.
Right. Well, I can sit over in the passenger side and he's driving. That's quality
Okay,
time.
quality.
Awesome. I love the sentiment of helping people navigate relationships. Relationships are so important, and how we look at them and the codes that we
Mhm.
use to manage them are so important. So I hope you guys wrote all of this down, all 8 of these codes, because I think it makes a difference in your relationship experience.
Absolutely.
If you find yourself not having friends or not having good coworkers or good acquaintances, then I will revisit how are you showing up in those relationships.
Absolutely.
And if you are not offering any of those 8 things that we just listed, then start there. Start and even ask a friend or two, what type of relationship, what do I bring to the relationship?
Absolutely.
How am I contributing? And so
Absolutely.
that's just our 8 codes for
8
2024
codes for
in
2020.
the month of February.
8 relationship.
8 relationship codes, right, on how to navigate relationships in 2024.
Mhm.
We thank you so much for joining us this whole month of
Oh, yeah.
February. This has been fun.
Oh, yeah, I've enjoyed it.
I have had so much fun, talking about relationships with Pastor Tony. You guys, please make sure you continue to subscribe to our YouTube and our Facebook channel. And if you heard something that blessed you today, all we ask is that you like and share. God bless you and have a good